We're back with another episode of the Hooper's Almanac, and guess what? It's a Mitch's monologue night. So you can expect a shorter episode than when Adam and I talk. But wanted to give a quick breakdown of the first two games that we've seen of both of the conference finals. And honestly, I'll just come out and say it now, and I'll just precursor it. I have loved every second of these first two games, and we've been treated to a bunch of masterpieces. And I won't dive too far into it in this intro, but that is what this episode will be about, as well as I'm going to be giving you guys, we talked about it last episode, everyone's all-time broadcast crews. So like the broadcast all-star team, basically, of all time. So I'll be giving those from our group chat and providing that for you guys and seeing what you guys think. And we'll get into that as well at the end here. But before we get going, here are our friends from Green Top. One series is 2-0. One series is 1-1. The Knicks just wrapped up beating the Cavs here in Game 2 in New York. A different win than we saw in Game 1. Tonight was the Josh Hart game. 100% every time the Knicks kicked it to him in the corner, it felt like it was going in. You can always expect Hart to have one of these, like one of every 10 games. He had this against the Celtics earlier in the season. Just one of those things I can remember, but it's one of these games. And Josh Hart didn't play down the stretch. They mentioned it a bunch in the broadcast down the stretch whenever the Knicks were making their comeback. That was a lot of Landry Shamet, who hit a big shot in the end of Game 1-2. But tonight, Josh Hart pretty much just said, I'm going to be leading scorer. He had 26 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. And he was just everywhere. But he also was his normal self with just getting annoyed with every foul he had, because he also had 5 fouls in tonight's game. But it was a night they needed him most, because Brunson started cold, as did Donovan Mitchell on the other end. Cat was great in the first half, even in that third quarter. But once Brunson kind of got it going a little bit there in the second half, Bridges was great. Everyone in the starting lineup for the Knicks had double-digit points. And I think that is the scariest thing about the Knicks. When they have all 5 of their starters going, humming, they're super dangerous. Probably the best starting lineup we have left. I mean, of these 4 teams, I think the Spurs and Thunder are deeper, but I think the best starting lineup is the Knicks right now. I think one of the great things that we saw is how important that starting 5 is, and especially on nights when their bench just doesn't want to show up. On a night where they knew that Mitchell Robinson only was going to play 12 minutes. I mean, not that they knew he was going to play 12 minutes, but there was just a little impact that he could have. It felt like the Knicks could spread the floor a little bit more with their shooting. McBride Deuce was not like great tonight, 1 of 6, but it just never felt, once the Knicks took control in that third quarter, because it was a very close game in the first half. And that's one thing I want to say now. The Cavs kept it close in the first half with Mitchell shooting like crap. It was and he still ends up with 26 points, a lot of that in the second half. But it was a good, decent Harden game. Nick Wright can't use this stat for Harden tonight because he had 6 points, 6 made shots, 0 turnovers. Suck on that. And what I still am continuing to get baffled by is this Cavs affinity with Wade. I get it. The plus minus seems to be pretty good with him out there. -10 tonight, though. And the just box score plus minus. And so I feel, and it also just continues to surprise me that they put Strus on Cat when they have one of the bigs out there. I think that's one of the things these Cavs teams have always struggled with, is just having an additional big off the bench. The Tristan Thompson days, the Thomas Bryant days this year, Kevin Love a few years ago before he got moved. It just felt like they've always struggled having an additional decent big man, while they still don't have like really great depth on the wing either. So, you got to pick and choose which one you want to go with. Mobley tonight only took 3 threes compared to 8 threes in game 1, which If you listen to Bill Simmons, Joe House had a little mini shit his pants moment because he couldn't get over the fact that Mobley took that many threes. It is an incredible game for the Knicks, though, just an all-around team win. I'm going to start here, though. I'm just going to do the Eastern Conference games first, and then we'll go out to the West because I think it's good that we also talk about Game 1. Much bigger win for the Knicks tonight, winning 109-93. Game 1, the 20-plus point comeback in that fourth quarter with 7 minutes to go. It is the second, or it's one of the bigger comebacks we've had in playoff history. It's the biggest playoff comeback that the Knicks have had since 73, I believe is what it was, or 70. I think it was 73 when they last won a title. So you can take that one to the bank. But this is the thing that the Knicks continuously do. The Cavs looked great for 3 quarters. It was some of the best basketball that they had all season, and you could see how well they were kicking into gear. And Mitchell was still kind of looking like Game 7 Mitchell. Not as great, not as high of assists, but in a game where they knew that he needed to get going, Game 1, he was great. He had 29 points, he had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, but 6 steals. It felt like he was just impacting everything. And in a bad Harden game, shooting-wise, but we won't touch that right now. And the thing is about this Cavs team, they can play 3 quarters of phenomenal basketball. But if the fourth quarter is that one crappy quarter, holy crap, does it look bad in that fourth quarter, and then them only scoring 3 points in the overtime, miserable. And I can't understand that in my mind. What was great was the Jalen Brunson masterpiece he put on the fourth quarter and overtime. And listen, I am a guy who has always said small guards, it's pretty hard to have a team that has small guards just win a title. That's led prominently by a small guard to win a title. We talked about it earlier this year. A lot of examples of it just not working out in a lot of favors. I don't think we've had a point guard be the prominent figure on a winning team since Isaiah Thomas in the 90s. And even then, it was a group effort. That Pistons team in the 90s was a group effort. And I feel like if the Knicks are going to win it, it's going to be a group effort for this team. Now, Brunson, no doubt about it, like Thomas, is the best player on this team. But he has a key figure in Cat. He has a great few running mates in Anunoby. Bridges is finally just looking... This version of Bridges is just icing on the cake for this team right now and how they need him to play. And then Hart, man, you know what? I mean, without the antics, of Dennis Rodman, he is their Dennis Rodman. He just does the hustle plays that they desperately need, and Hart is that for them. I'm thinking about this 90s Pistons kind of correlation here because Rodman is Hart in my mind. I think Anunoby is Aguirre, just is the veteran presence in that sense. Cat is not as angry. He's I want to be nice about the flamboyancy, but Cat is more flamboyant, Lambeer, but still a showman. Both of them showmen in just very different ways. And then Isaiah and Brunson being the same, and then Bridges and Dumars kind of just lining up. McBride is their Vinnie Johnson, by the way, just throwing that out there too. But it just feels like there's some correlations. And while the Knicks are much more known for their offense, their defense has been was incredibly stellar in this Game 1. And that's what I kind of wanted to point out too. They were making the Cavs take tough shots, and the Cavs couldn't stop the Knicks offense at all in the second half of Game 1, and then it did not feel like the Knicks had, or in the second half of Game 2. It just felt like the Knicks have had full control of this team. And so I personally, I said the Knicks were going to win this series. I thought it was going to be in 6. I think the Cavs can probably take 1 or 2, both in Cleveland, but man, I still like my 6th choice here for the Knicks. But man, this is the version of the Knicks that everyone's been looking for. This team-oriented, working together, creating shots for each other type of play, and it's been very impressive So it's very cool to see how well this Knicks team is playing. I can't stand the Knicks, but unbiasedly, it's been a lot of fun to watch how well they've been playing. I want to move out west real quick. See, we're only 10 minutes in, less than 10 minutes in at this point, and we're already moving on to the second series. I told you this was going to be a quick night for y'all. But this is the longer one. We'll start with game one, actually, out west. And what was probably, listen, up to this point, there were game 5 of Cavs Pistons was my favorite game of the NBA playoffs of this year. Game 1 of Spurs Thunder quickly trumped that. And everyone saw the Wemby shot. Everyone's already talked about it. I don't need to go into that. Our group chats were all blowing up with it. And it was a crazy shot. We saw it. We move on. It's incredible. It's the full experience of Wemby. And I know Russillo went on Russillo's pod, he kind of went on a rant about how it's basically Wemby versus everybody. And like, how can you not enjoy watching this guy? I think Wemby is, listen, it's different, but Wemby has brought has brought fans back to the NBA. Spurs fans are now flocking to go back to games in San Antonio. Adam and Austin, who Adam's the host with me, but they host Johnson Magic. Go listen to that. But they have gone to more games this year than they have in past years, and it's because of Wemby and how successful he has helped make this team. Now, it's also the other players, too. Don't get me wrong. Castle, Harper, Fox, Vassell, KJ. I mean, they've been going still since then, too. But I think the thing that is very important to just mention is how important Wemby has been to that whole process. And, I mean, everyone knows that. I'm not breaking news here. But Wemby has changed the culture around watching basketball once again. We've had a few of these guys just in NBA history. Curry was like that in the early 2010s. Every game was, hey, let's go watch Curry. And it's not just for the NBA like nerds who are wanting to do it in the regular season. It's like must-watch TV now for casual fans. And not even, and like, it's also just for random people like, oh, there's the 7-4 masterpiece and Victor Wembanyama's playing tonight. Yeah, I'll turn on the game for a little bit here. That's the thing. Curry was doing that in the early 2010s. LeBron, I mean, everyone was kind of hate watching LeBron, but it was just something similar to that. It was like, hey, LeBron's on. Let's watch and cheer against him. Or if you're it was like on both sides of the coin. LeBron fanatics loved it too. Yeah, the Kobe fans, especially in those late 2000s when the Lakers were making their title runs, the 3 straight years when they made the finals and the repeat finals they had in 09 and 10. You could tell that the Lakers fans Kobe fans were back out and at it. Jordan fans, of course. And then Bird and Magic. I mean, ever since the 80s, it's kind of been like that too. But Wemby feels like he's on that marketability level of, hey, this guy's on. Put it, and he's on your like local broadcast. It doesn't matter if you got an antenna. It doesn't matter if you got YouTube TV. It doesn't matter if you got still like some sort of dish. It doesn't matter. Anyone can watch this guy. If you don't have anything, literally just point the cord in the back of your TV just up in the air. You'll probably still get NBC. And that's the difference. You can watch this guy on any channel. And Wemby has been that sort of masterpiece, it's felt like, in this playoffs. The ejection in this dual series just kind of builds up the lore of it all. But right now, after game 1 and even after game 2, he's just something to behold. Game 1, he had 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal in what has been his highest minute game of his career. That was the incredible part, too. He, in 2 games of high minutes, hasn't looked incredibly exhausted. It's probably going to kick in here a little bit, but we shall see. We move on, though, because the Spurs do win game 1 in double overtime. He hits the crazy shot, the shot that was near the same spot that Curry made his double bang in the regular season of 2016. And on the other side, it was not Shea's best game in game 1. It was a great J-Dub game in game 1, which I was glad we got to see one full game of J-Dub, who did get hurt in game 2 or re-aggravated an injury. Fox didn't play in game one either, and he didn't play in game two either, which is very important if you're just thinking about it from the Spurs perspective. We have a second-year guy in Castle, a first-year guy in Harper, the ball is just now in their hands the entire game. Like, go lead an offense. Wemby rarely brought the ball up. It was those two. It was a lot of Castle. And Castle, because of that, had 11 turnovers in game one. And point of contention for Spurs fans because they're like, gosh, 11 of our 21 turnovers came from this guy. Yes, but you've never seen him have this high of a usage in his career than he has had in games one and game two. The ball is just so in his hands so much. It's because the Spurs trust him to make these decisions, and I think he is the right man for the job. If it's not him, it's Harper, who has looked good, who's looked calmer in moments. And I think that's what's important too. Who Harper also was 7 steals in game one. The defense of the Spurs and the Thunder is just all over the place in a great way. Game one. Game two, Hartenstein gets a little more physical. But let's get to game two, because game two, injuries galore. God, did that part suck. J-Dub, A.J. Mitchell, Dylan Harper also gets a little banged up, but it doesn't sound like he's going to miss time. A.J. Mitchell sounds like he's going to be back for game two. J-Dub is kind of a day-to-day. We're going to play it by ear kind of situation. And in game two, 9-point win for the Thunder. They won 122-113. In what was a much better Shea game, Chet still looks cold. He did not look great in game one. Or, not cold, let me rephrase that. Does not look aggressive enough on offense. Doesn't look confident on offense. And he is basically... and he's playing the same minutes as Hartenstein. They cannot put them on the court at the same time, it feels like. They barely did. And basically to start the game and start the first half, and it just doesn't feel like they have a trust that they can really play both guys at the same time, which is crazy to me. But I think the fact that you're really trusting, you trusted Chet so much during the regular season, and he just feels like the little brother against Wemby. That's the difference. He is, don't get me wrong, Wemby's top 5 player in the NBA right now. Chet's not anywhere near that. But Chet and Wemby have got this rivalry dating back to high school, and you would think Chet would try to step up to the moment. Has yet to do that. For reference, my wife thinks he looks like a billy goat. And there's also the Jay Burchell comparison that she's thrown out there too. And also has now been added to the punchable faces list. So that list has been mentioned a few times on this pod, but just felt like I needed to put that. Also, Hartenstein also has made the list, which is kind of funny. We have both Thunder big men on that list. For the other thing I should probably mention, he was the best player for the Thunder in game one, and he was great in game two, Alex Caruso. Shots, just big shots that keep them in the game one, and they kept them just hanging around in game one. Game two was a big part of why they're winning these games. He's the second leading scorer in tonight's game, was the leading scorer in game one, had a career high in game one. And in game two, just his defense. Listen, you're talking to the guy who understands that, man, this Thunder team is just getting away with a lot. It's not manslaughter, but it's a lot. He is a leader in that. Hartenstein's a leader in that. The two vets. Dort, of course, just is going to get mentioned by anyone who watches basketball with how aggressive this guy is on defense. And so it is pretty tough. It's pretty tough to watch and kind of just marvel at how it's not getting called. I don't understand it. But as a brother of a Thunder fan, I just have to put up with it, because if I say something, I'm going to have to be here for 5 more minutes and have to listen to him rant about it. So on to another day. We also should mention the fact that the three guards off the bench, Kason Wallace had his best game of the playoffs offensively. Defensively, he also was pretty great too. Jeremy Kane might have had an inefficient night, but the fact that those two and A.J. Mitchell are all on the same team And I'm telling you, that would be a great 3-guard rotation on just a play-in team. Like, you would be very happy to have that as your play-in rotation guards. Like, those 3. And the fact that they're all coming off the bench behind Shea. And I mean, I know Kayson's started a few times just because J-Dub's out. Now J-Dub being out again, possibly. I'm sure Kayson's going to start again. AJ Mitchell has had a few great games just because of the J-Dub injury. He's been able to get a lot more opportunity. The fact that those 3 guys are on the same team is just crazy to me. I am trying to just think right now. Yeah, they're probably like on par. I think the difference, I mean, Devin Booker is the better player of all 3 of these guys, but I think that trio would be better than the trio guards that the Suns have. Just saying. So, this series has been one of the best conference finals we've had in a long time. And I'll say this, and just to wrap around this entire conference finals conversation, all 4 teams have shown why they, in spurts of different parts of these games, have shown why they are like here and shown that they can be so dominant to win the title. That's what's crazy to me. The Cavs in those first 3 quarters of game 1 were just beautiful basketball. And it was like, oh, okay, so you got this. You could possibly win this series. Like, if you play like this. And it's been gone kind of ever since. And in the first 2 quarters of game 2 were just like, they were pretty good basketball with a less confident Mitchell, or to say more passive Mitchell. And then the Knicks in fourth quarter, overtime of game 1, and then second half of game 2, you're just like, yeah, this is why you belong here. This is why you are in the conference finals, and this is why you could possibly win the title, just because of moments like this. Spurs, first 3 quarters of game 1, and then the Thunder kind of came back in the fourth quarter. And then I also want to shout out their first quarter and then third quarter of game 2, where they just looked incredible on offense, even without Fox and with the Harper injury. They just looked great, and they also have Wemby. So, and then the Thunder. The fact that their depth, even with J-Dub not looking fully healthy and now being hurt again, the injuries are going to kill one of these teams, it feels like. But Thunder, having SGA the MVP, and also knowing that he has a bad game 1, comes back game 2, looks so much better. I think that's what's dangerous, is that you got the one bad game out of SGA, it felt like, and then now he's just locked in. So, very curious to see how the Spurs kind of adjust going into game 3. It's going to be super fun to see how that goes. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to do the All-Star broadcast cruise that I have my buddies send me. And I'm excited to share that with y'all. So last pod, I asked Adam the question of just current day, who would his all-star broadcast be, and we talked about how great the Prime broadcast was. As for like pregame, postgame, he had Breen and Stan Van Gundy. And so I asked the question to my full group chat, and we opened it up to everybody, all time. Who would you have? And I asked it to my brother and then the Johnson brothers, and we got a few good responses. So I'm going to start with Adams first, because this is a great crew. He has Marv Albert and then Steve Kerr. Listen, current day NBA fans, younger NBA fans not remember Steve Kerr on the call, and listen, I need you to go back and listen to it, because it's something special. It's beautiful, and just do yourself a favor, go listen to a call, because when he stops coaching, I want that back. I want him. I want Doc to go back to doing it, because Doc was great before he took the Bucks job. I want him back. So Adam had Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Ahmad Rashad, of course, the classic sideline host, and then Ernie Johnson with only young Barkley and young Kenny, right after whenever just that whole show started. And I couldn't agree with more. That's a great crew of guys. It's very special. So we kind of all did different ones, though, because we all were like, we don't want to be similar. We don't want to be the same. So then Austin, Adam's brother, still he went with Breen and Jeff Van Gundy. Stuck with the 2. I like this. And then he had Taylor Rooks, who hosts the Prime Show, with, this is great, Bill Simmons, Zach Lowe, Becky Hammon, and LeBron James. Which, listen, I love all of these. I love that. That would be just a wild collection of people just to see if they could all get on a show together. And then he also wanted himself to be on the sideline, which, listen, if you listen to Johnson Magic, if you know Austin Johnson, that'd be one of the funniest things on earth. It's the more explicit version of Chance the Rapper's a skit on SNL doing a hockey sideline. Now Austin knows far more about basketball, but it just gives me that vibes of like, oh, this is going to be hilarious the entirety of the night. So give me that. My brother, Evan, did Mike Tirico, which he's been great on the NBC broadcast. It's been great to have Tirico doing basketball again. He's done the Olympics, football, of course, for a long time. And so it's good to have him doing it's been great having him back as NBA. Evan had Tirico and Jeff Van Gundy, which that's an interesting duo. Kind of love that. And then Ernie hosting 2012 Bill Simmons and Michael Wilbon. And then that'd be great, by the way, post-game, pre-game. And then he brought back the classic Craig Sager. And I think Craig, and that's just the correct answer in my mind. I think Craig's the GOAT with that kind of stuff, either him or Ahmad. I went with Breen, and I still think I would go with Reggie. But can you give me Mike Fratello? I want him. I want him to be my sideline or my second color commentator, and he's special. Just because of all the different games we've gone back and watched for Anatomy of a Franchise, it's been great to hear his voice. If not him, I would also maybe do Bill Walton, but like late 80s, early 90s Bill Walton when he's still got the fastball. Give me Doris Burke on the side because I think she was phenomenal. I think she still is good as a color commentator. I think she gets crapped on a little too much, maybe because she uses first names, but whatever. And then I want either, whether it be Taylor Rooks, I think she's been great so far. Just give me the current NBC or Prime crew because that crew has just been spectacular to watch. And just to like take in their knowledge over this first year of them doing it. So I'll take that crew as just my full broadcast team. So we're going to put this out on social media. I want everyone else's thoughts. Tell me who you think your all-star team would be or your broadcast all-star team would be. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks everyone for listening. Like I said, shorter pod. So hopefully this is consumable on your drive to work. Go Spurs. Honestly, go Spurs, but also just like thanks these four teams for providing such fun basketball to watch over these past 4 days. We have a lot more to come. There's a lot more games in these conference finals. My hope is that the Knicks don't sweep. I just need one. I don't need any sweeps. I just want, if 5-game series, that's fine, but just don't sweep the Knicks. So just hold off on that. Thanks everyone for listening. Have a great weekend. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, y'all.